Hi everybody, Steve here in Palm Springs, actually South Palm Springs, at a condo development called the COCO Cabana. And I think everyone here just calls it the COCO for short. And I'm here to visit a friend who I haven't seen in quite a long time. He invited me over to see his new book. It's a book about the history of the COCO Cabana. And his name is Ken, and he's going to give us a little tour of the development itself on the outside. So I know many of you love mid-century modern architecture just like I do. And there's so much mid-century modern history here in Palm Springs. And I think Ken, he's sort of a historian and a film buff and definitely a mid-century modern fanatic, I mean, for a better word. He really knows so much about the mid-century modern history of Palm Springs. So I'm going to ask him some questions. He'll give us a little tour. And hopefully we'll all learn a little bit more about the COCO Cabana today. All right, Ken was just listening to me and he said, rather than a fanatic, he's really more of an enthusiast. And I think that does sound a lot better than fanatic. So anyway, Ken, the mid-century modern enthusiast is right here.
Hey Steve, how are you?
Good to see you again. Oh, where are you?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. It's probably been a year or so. So, Ken, you live up in Vancouver, and you have a mid-century modern, beautiful high-rise condo there, right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, and then you bought this as a second home, a getaway. And I was asking Ken a little while ago, I couldn't remember if these were used as rentals, and you were saying that they are used as vacation rentals. Are there any restrictions on that? So like if anybody watching and they wanted to rent here?
There are quite a few of the units at the COCO that people rent out as vacation rentals.
And they allow it and there's no problem.
Yeah, seasonally or year-round. There's a 1-week minimum, and most of them you can find on Airbnb, VRBA, those kinds of places.
Perfect. So Ken, do you have any idea what they rent for? I mean, I'm sure they're all different, but... Yeah,
there's 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units. I think there's actually a 3-bedroom unit as well. Runs the gamut.
Just a general idea, like $1,000 a night or $500 a night?
Yeah, between $100, $500 a night. Okay. Again, depending on the time of year and what size of unit.
Yeah, and probably also if it's been fixed up like you fixed up yours. I mean, now for those of you who have never seen Ken's condo before, which is pretty much everyone probably.
Right, probably. Yeah. Welcome to my condo, everyone.
Yeah, when he purchased this, it was sort of a Spanish design. Someone obviously lived here who didn't appreciate mid-century modern at all and didn't have like Spanish style floors, and you put in these beautiful terrazzo tiles that are just gorgeous and very expensive. I mean, back in the 60s, this was the style, but I think they stopped doing it because of the expense, didn't they?
Yeah, these are actually ceramic terrazzo style, hexagonal, so they're a little more affordable for the everyday person.
Yeah, they're really gorgeous.
A couple of the major changes, as you were saying, this condo was really dark when I first bought it. So I guess I did 3 major things. We tore out the floor and put on a lighter floor that reads as one, makes the whole space seem a little bit larger, more square footage.
So now, this mirror wasn't here, or was it partially there? It seems like I remember.
The mirror wasn't there at all. So 2 reasons to add the mirror, actually 3 reasons. To increase the size.
Oh, it really does. Yeah, it looks huge.
Yeah. To brighten up the space. It certainly pulls a lot more light into the room.
Yeah.
And this particular tennis unit, even though the complex is surrounded by mountains, you can't really see the mountains from inside this unit. You have to step outside. But with the mirror here, it actually pulls a bit of the mountain view in.
Oh yeah,
especially if you're sitting in the
chair.
I
do remember talking about this when you first bought it. In fact, as I was talking to you earlier, I'm looking and seeing the mountains right there.
Yeah. So that's one of the other major things I did. And then lastly, I guess there was a bulkhead right here in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
With a partition, and I just pulled that out.
And you added the lights, the recessed lighting. Yeah. Yeah, it is so much brighter than it was.
Yeah.
And this is new too, right? This is a beautiful cabinet.
The countertops are new as well.
Yeah.
The kitchen cabinets I left.
Yeah, which is wonderful.
Because they're original wood cabinets, so really they just needed a coat of paint.
And they were in really good condition.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think these came with dishwashers at the time, did they? Back in the day? Or did they?
You know what? Well, these particular units were built in '73. They were added to the original COCO, which was built in 1955. So this is
Was this like a second phase?
Yes. It was a second set of owners.
So Ken asked me over today, and he just mentioned that he finished his book about the COCO. It's an historic book on this development, the COCO Cabana. So not only did he move in because he loved this development, but he was so interested in it and such an enthusiast, not a fanatic, that he decided to write a book, actually with one of the neighbors, right?
Yeah, with my neighbor Christopher Shaw.
Yeah, so he's also
did all the research.
Yeah. So when he said he wanted to give me a copy, I said, well, you know what? I would rather come over and talk to you about the book, or have you talk to us about the book and share with all of you here on YouTube, because as some of you, I think I've mentioned before, millions of people all over the world come to Palm Springs because of the mid-century modern design here. Anyway, so he's going to tell us a little bit about the book, how it came about, why he decided to write it, and then he's going to give us a little tour of the rest of the development on the outside. Okay, so Ken, tell us about the book and why you decided to do it.
Well, I guess we got to start before I actually bought this condo. 5-6 years ago, I created a website called modtraveler.net because I'm a mid-century modern enthusiast.
Yeah.
And
you love to travel.
And I like to travel. So the website really focused primarily on 4 major cities: Vancouver, Las Vegas, Honolulu, and Palm Springs, of course. The mecca for all things mid-century modern.
Yeah.
And so that's where the enthusiasm grew from. And when I was able to purchase my second home, my vacation home here in Palm Springs, of course I wanted to learn more about this development specifically. So went to the Historic Society, and they didn't have any information on COCO Cabana, really not a whole lot of anything. So then I started researching myself, along with my co-researcher on the book here, Chris Shaw. And what we learned was that the COCO was originally built as a hotel in 1955. It was designed by Charles W. Doty, who is a local architect back in the mid-century. Did a lot of private homes, a couple of other condo developments, but not quite as well known as, the bigger names like E. Stewart Williams or Albert Frey.
Right. Now, I don't want to interrupt you, but you mentioned earlier that Doty designed the home for
actor Robert Cummings out in
Indian Wells. Was it the Indian Wells?
El Dorado.
El Dorado. Now, is that the development that was developed by Desi Arnaz and Lucille Ball?
I don't know.
Okay, so it was either that one or maybe the one next door. There's 2. There's the Indian Wells Country Club and the El Dorado. I think the El Dorado is where President Eisenhower lived for a while. He had a home there. Okay. I can't remember if that's the one that Lucy and Desi owned. It might have been. It was one or the other.
Could have been. El Dorado Palms, I believe.
Yeah, and so Bob Cummings was in the Bob Cummings Show, and what was he? Didn't he have another show? TV show, or that's before your time?
Not that old.
Yeah, you're not that old. So anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So Charles Doty was hired by Edward F. Bishop and Roland and Hazel Franz, who were the original owners of the COCO, to design the complex, the hotel, back in 1955. So it was built and opened in 56 as a garden apartment style hotel. They had double units and single units. I think at that time when they opened there were only 10 units. They had envisioned expanding to 30 units at the beginning, which eventually happened, but it happened much later and with a second set of owners.
And don't you have a picture in the book of the layout, the way it looked back when it was first being developed? I think you had an aerial view or something. Yeah, look at this. Yes. So your condo, your unit's probably not even here, is it?
No, the tennis units are.
Is that the...
That's Desert Isle. That's the Desert Isle Hotel, which is up at the corner of Verona and Palm Canyon. Yeah, so yours would be on this side over here. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So you can see in that photograph, that was just the very early stage.
Yeah.
And then this photo was taken a few years later, and you can see a few more units were added to the northwest corner.
Oh yeah. So it really took a number of years, and you said this was 1975. Your unit was built.
73. So this area here, which is still all desert, that's the area that was developed, and later a tennis court was added, and the 16 units in the center of the complex.
Right. So the tennis court's like over here now.
Right. The second set of owners purchased the property in 71. They expanded it in 73, and then ended up selling in 77, 78 to a developer who then converted the hotel units into condominium units.
Now, I remember when you were first looking at this place, I don't remember if it said on the MLS or if we were just talking about it, but I seem to remember that maybe some celebrities had stayed here at this hotel or lived here. Do you know anything about that?
Well, I wish I could tell you that Marilyn Monroe stayed here. But, I mean, she stayed pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, everyone
so
kind of has a claim to fame for Marilyn Monroe here in the desert.
Maybe assume that she did. But one of the owners who's been here for quite a while, remember it was converted in 77, 78, so there are some owners who have been here that whole time.
Really?
Like,
wow.
They've been here for over 40 years.
That's amazing.
So you remember the TV show Laverne and Shirley?
Oh yeah, of course.
So Cindy Williams, apparently she used to stay here.
Interesting.
Can't confirm that.
So one of the owners who lived here at the time remembered meeting her or something?
Yes,
okay.
That's how the story goes.
Okay, yeah.
And I know she ended up buying a house later in Vista Las Palmas.
I think in Vista Las Palmas, I had heard that she owned a home there. I don't know if she still does, but Tom Bosley, who, they were on the same show, Happy Days together, and Tom Bosley owned a home up in that area, and then after he died, gosh, it must have been 4, 5, 6 years ago now. It's time just kind of blurs together. It all goes by so fast. But yeah, he lived up there, so it makes sense that they all were down here together.
Sure.
So yeah, so it's very likely that she did stay here. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. The cover illustration that you're looking at right now is by local artist Danny Heller. He's a Southern California artist.
Does he specialize in mid-century modern architecture?
He absolutely does. In fact,
that's really nice.
If you look at the wall next to my refrigerator there, that is one of Danny's images.
This painting?
It's
so he does drawings and paintings.
Yeah, photorealistic oil paintings.
That's gorgeous. Where did you get this?
It's a limited edition print. Danny sells on his website.
Wow.
DannyHellerArt.com.
DannyHellerArt.com. That is really beautiful.
Yeah, and he specializes in photorealistic paintings of mid-century modern.
Nice. And you mentioned your travel channel. It's
modtraveler.net.
And can you spell that? Because travel is spelled a couple different ways.
It's spelled the American way with one L.
With one L.
Modtraveler, all one word, modtraveler.net.
And on that website, if people are looking to stay in mid-century modern condos here in the desert, are most of them listed?
Well, on my website, I've got a lot of the mid-century modern hotels listed. A fair amount of the condos, including this one, are also online.
That's great.
In addition to all kinds of other stuff that you can do, places to shop, things to see, all within that mid-century modern vein.
So we're going to go out now. Ken is going to give me a little tour of the grounds. We're going to get our sunglasses on, our sunblock on, and we're going to see what these condos look like from the outside. Ken's going to give me a tour around the grounds. One of the first things that I notice about this desert condo development is just how green it is. And this poodle-cut olive tree really takes me back to the 60s. The first time I had ever seen trees trimmed like this was at my grandparents' Palm Springs home when I was a kid. I remember thinking that everything about Palm Springs was fun, even the trees. So this was the original sign out front. Do you think this was like from the 1950s?
No, this sign apparently was created when the condo conversion happened in 1977-78.
Okay, so still pretty vintage.
That's the sign that was out on the street.
And it was a little different color. Wasn't it blue or something?
Yeah, it was like a green and white.
Yeah.
So we just recently repurposed it for the interior.
It was kind of like the original Palm Springs sign, which was that green and white. So these are the tennis courts we were talking about a little while ago. And then the pool is on the other side in the interior. Yeah. Someone asked me the other day on one of my videos, how many people have pools in Palm Springs? I said, well, pretty much everybody. It's almost impossible not to have a pool here. And back in the day, almost everybody had a tennis court, especially all the, the movie stars, the celebrities. Every home came with a tennis court and a pool. So let's go take a look at the beautiful pool they have here. Oh, look at the Roadrunner. Yeah, is he being attacked or is he? Yeah, he is. He's probably found someone's nest. Wow, the views here are just beautiful, aren't they?
Aren't they? Yeah.
And it's funny, there's usually no wind in this part of town, or very little wind. And this is like one of those rare days where there's, Murphy's Law, right? It's supposed to get up to over 90 degrees today. And on such a beautiful day as this, I don't think the pool is going to be empty for long. This has to be one of the best locations in all of Palm Springs. Hey, now is that a leaf blower I hear?
Another leaf blower.
Gee, what a surprise. I've never turned on my camera without a leaf blower also turning on at the exact same time. So this is what that sign used to look like back in 1971 or 73?
78, 77, 78.
Yeah.
It was added when it converted to condos.
Yeah, those were the colors and very much like the old vintage Palm Springs sign. So Chris, the co-author, was supposed to join us for this tour tonight.
Well, he just texted
Oh,
me.
here he is now.
There he is now.
Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so...
So Chris helped me research the book, and like I said earlier, the book was his idea.
Yeah, what a good idea, too.
To actually put all of our research on paper into a book.
We went to the Memorial Library, the Historic Society Research Database.
The Wellwood Murray Library. Yeah.
And it was insane the amount of information that we were pulling up in their database.
That's really cool.
But we had to search for it.
Yeah. Well, I think what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you have a website or anything, but Ken, I'll put your website address underneath the video in the contact information or the description area.
Sure.
So if anyone wants the book, when the next printing is available,
Sure.
they can contact you, I guess, through your other website,
Yeah,
through
sure.
the
modtraveler.net
website. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
When we do the reprint, the second edition, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? That's so cool that it's already sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have many more editions than this one. It's a beautiful book. I just looked through it real fast, but I wanted to come by today and instead of just showing you or talking about the book, showing you the actual site that the book is all about. So thank you guys so much for inviting me over today and sharing information about your book. And it was really nice seeing you again, Ken, and meeting you, Chris.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Yeah, so until our next trip down memory lane together, thanks for sharing the memories, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.